having fake hair. We all know you have extensions. No way that your hair is not fake. I'll suck it. Welcome everybody to a brand new edition of ROFLcast. I am your host Achilles, and this is the only podcast that threatens to rebrand the KKK to the Flaming T's. As always, I am joined by the photographer that Aziz Ansari sexually molested, Soman. Soman, say what's up.
It's pronounced Salmon for the last fucking time. And
Soman
also,
it is. Great to be joined by Soman Ryder. He rides Somans. And we also are joined by the scientist that found out the real reason gingers don't have souls. It's because Ed Sheeran took them all and put it all into his music. Kayla. Kayla, what is up?
Hello, Ed Sheeran. Well,
I did not tell you hello. I said, what is up? We said hello
I said
earlier.
hello to the people, not you.
People aren't people.
Not all about you.
This week on ROFLcast, we will be discussing our most anticipated films of 2018 and taking a vote of what is going to be the best and what is going to be the worst. Now, last year when we did this, I said the worst movie was going to be Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Was I correct?
You're triggered.
I still don't know because I still haven't seen it.
You're going to have to watch it.
I don't think it was the worst.
I think of all the movies that I saw in theaters, that was the worst movie I saw in theaters that year. Okay, great responses. No agrees, no disagrees. Just like
think of what I would
solemnity.
Say
Just like you guys quietly nodding at your screens. You're like, interesting.
I don't remember half the movies I saw.
In theater.
I
didn't see a lot in theater.
Okay.
Did not see a lot, so it's hard for me to pick the worst one, but I don't think so.
If you've seen a million movies, that would be hard for you to pick the worst one. If you've seen like 6 movies in theaters, it'd be pretty fucking easy to pick the one that was the worst. Name the movies you saw in theaters last year.
Logan, Guardians 2, Spider-Man.
Guardians 2 is a close contender for worst of the year.
No, it's not. What else did I see?
You see Blade Runner?
I did not see Blade Runner.
Thor Ragnarok?
Thor Ragnarok I saw.
Get Out?
I did not see Get Out.
Wonder Woman?
I did not see Wonder Woman.
Dunkirk?
I did not see Dunkirk.
Baby Driver?
I wanted to see Baby Driver.
Okay, jump in anytime you want on this.
I'm like, I need to try and remember what movies I've watched, because all the ones that I watched in theater I actually enjoyed.
War for the Planet of the Apes.
I did not see that
yet. The Beguiled! The Beguiled was the worst movie.
What the fuck is The Beguiled?
Exactly!
First of all, it's in theaters, so I probably should know what it is.
It's a movie where a bunch of women keep a guy captive.
No, you had me at a bunch of women. It sounds horrible.
Nothing happens. Absolutely nothing happens. And Kirsten Dunst is boring as fucking it, so.
Oh, that's a fucking shocker. Did she have a cardboard character that was super fucking boring, like in all of her movies?
Yeah, except she's old now.
Oh, you didn't like Beguiled. Okay, so this is interesting. There's not a lot of female directors because to be a director you have to be smart, and women aren't smart. No, obviously that's not. That's what
you don't have to be smart.
You know what's actually really weird is that like artistically it seems like women be more in tune on how to manage people and like an artistic vision. Wouldn't you say like a woman would be more just how we've been habituated over the years? If we're taking the way that society has raised people, women are usually more in tune with that type of stuff. So I would assume that there should be more female directors, right?
I mean,
yes.
That'd be nice.
Right. And it's funny that the industry has made it kind of the other way, but I also think that there is a lot of media that is kind of targeted to women that like, if you want to be in the film industry, you have to be the star of the film. You have to be the lady in the film. You want to be the starlet. Whereas with men, they're like, you can be the writer, director, star, it doesn't really matter. I would like to see a lot bigger push for young women to start working in film and writing as well, because I think that they convey a message that not necessarily a man can't do, but perhaps a different perspective because they have different life experiences often than some men, right? Not to say that either side can't feel the same experience as the other, just saying that in certain instances that's true. And that's the way how I found Sofia Coppola. I think that she's made artistic visions that I just haven't seen from anyone else, including her father. She is a fucking incredible director, especially for her age. Like when she started directing, she was quite young, and she directed The Virgin Suicides, 20-ish years ago.
Yeah, so
Lost in
good.
Translation, which is an amazing movie.
So good.
Somewhere, which is a very good movie. And, even the ones that, got kind of, hated on, Marie Antoinette, what was the other one? Bling Ring, which is a stupid movie.
I hated that movie so much.
And now, apparently, The Beguiled,
Yeah.
she still is incredibly talented, and she definitely has a lot of really good movies in her. But like her father, she chooses to make these really weird artsy films that sometimes don't connect with audiences, and that's okay.
That was the problem. It's not even that it was artsy. It's a remake, first of all, and she basically cut all the substance from the story. Like everything that made the story interesting in the original, she just cut it all out and was like, "Here's these women just sitting in a house, and this guy comes along. Panic ensues." That's it. That's the movie, and not even that much panic.
That's so sad to hear, because you think that in the hands of her it could become something really, really great, and I was hoping it would be, because I like using her as my example when people are like, "Oh, there are no good female directors." I'm like, well, one of the best directors of all time is a woman. But when she directs movies that aren't that aren't good, like Bling Ring, and apparently The Beguiled, it hurts the argument. And
basically, jerking off without an orgasm was that movie. You're waiting for something to happen, and nothing does.
Jerking off
So
is
you're
better than not
saying
jerking off.
Sofia Coppola is like the X-Files. When it's good, it's really, really good. But when it's bad, it's really, really bad.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe.
That's a really good way to describe it. I'm getting a ton of calls right now.
Popular?
I'm super popular. Okay, so you think Beguiled was worse than Star Wars?
You think Star Wars was worse than Justice League?
Yeah.
I haven't seen Justice League yet, so I can't comment, but now I'm curious.
That's a good question, honestly. I don't know.
A new month, a new
I
year, a
almost,
whole bunch of new
I
stuff.
almost saw Power Rangers, and
Ooh.
I vote for that being the worst.
Was that
No,
this
I
year?
heard Power Rangers
Yes.
was really fun. It was cheesy and shitty, just like the original TV show, which I'm very, very into.
No, it's in the wrong way. One of them kills a homeless man.
I'm okay with that. Yeah, I had a really good time at the theater in 2017. It was really fun. Disaster Artist was really fun. Alien was, people hated it, but I had fun with it, although it was shit. John Wick 2 was super fun. Yeah, I had a good time at the movies this year. Lego Batman was amazing.
I keep hearing that. I need to watch it.
And same with Kong Skull Island. It is a bad movie, but I had a lot of fun watching that bad movie. Even The Mummy. I went into The Mummy knowing it was going to suck dick. And knowing it in the most educated parts of my brain, and I still enjoyed the shit out of it because I knew what it was. I knew it was gonna be dog shit, and I'm like, this is the best type of dog shit that I could be watching right now. I fucking love it. So yeah, I would say that the only experience where I was just I wasn't expecting a lot from The Last Jedi, but I was expecting something just a little worse than The Force Awakens. But I still hyped for it because I love Rian Johnson. I think his other movies are amazing, except for The Brothers Bloom, which is what this movie turned out to be. And so I was hoping he'd have an interesting take on it. And then when I watched it, and I was like, this isn't a shot well. Some of it was shot super well, but some of it was very camera here, camera there, camera here, camera there. And then when the movies just stopped making sense and started trying to be funny, I was like, oh, Rian, you're not funny. That's what made Brick and Looper so good, is that there's not a single fucking joke in it. You know what I mean? You do one movie every fucking 6 years, and they're amazing because you have your time to work on it. But when you rush a movie like Brothers Bloom or Last Jedi, it turns out like that. Soman, are you wearing headphones?
Yes.
I'm hearing some echo. Kay, is that you?
I'm wearing headphones today.
I'll stab you both. And the constabulary.
Clearly your fault.
Because I'm hearing the echo, too.
I can hear it a little bit.
What? How is everyone?
But not a lot to bother me.
It's enough to make me want to kill myself. Okay, but that's all in the past. Yeah, that's literally it. So that was all in the past. That is done. Now it's time to move on to 2018. Now, 2018 is full of a whole bunch of interesting movies, and almost all of them are sequels. I'm actually having a hard time finding a movie that isn't a spin-off or a sequel. or a remake. But I'm okay with that because that's just how Hollywood is now. So, is there any movies that stand out on top of your guys' head that's coming out soon that you guys are really excited for?
Venom. Hopefully they don't fuck it up.
They're gonna fuck it up.
I'm really upset. I know, but I'm just hopeful because I'm still mad about the
We
Spider-Man.
don't even know who
movie.
Peter Parker is in this, so like, how can it be
It's
good?
gonna be
Yeah, this is an interesting one because with Venom being a Sony property and Sony and Marvel kind of working together with Spider-Man Homecoming, there's a possibility that Venom's just obviously set in the same universe and that we have our regular Spider-Man, Tom Holland, reprising the role. But I'm really excited for Venom. Let's start there. So here's what we know about Venom. It is starring Tom Hardy as Eddie Brock / Venom and Michelle Williams. Who is, yeah.
I like Michelle Williams.
Yeah, she's not bad. So that should be interesting to see them as a couple. They're both very, very good actors. Scott Rosenberg, Jeff Pinker, and Kelly Marcel did the script and is directed by Ruben Fleischer. Ruben Fleischer. Do you guys know Ruben Fleischer movies at all?
No.
Neither do I, so I'm opening up his tab on Wikipedia. So he has directed, let's see.
Woody Harrelson's in it too?
Why not?
I love Woody Harrelson.
So, speaking of Woody Harrelson, he directed Zombieland, which is such a great movie. 30 Minutes or Less, which was a really fun movie. Gangster Squad, which was a movie. Two Night Stand. He was a producer on Two Night Stand. So he's only directed 3 films: Zombieland, 30 Minutes or Less, and Gangster Squad, and they're all pretty good. He also directed some TV stuff like Santa Clarita Diet, Superstore, Marry Me, Robin Big. So he's between 2 films with Zach Galifianakis. So he hasn't done a ton of stuff, but so here's what he's been doing. He does a lot of music videos and commercials. So he did Galang for MIA, Kid Sisters Pro Nails, Electric Six Dance Commander, and commercials for Cisco, McDonald's, Burger King, etc. So he does have a lot of experience. I like Zombieland a lot. I thought it was a really, really well-balanced movie, just a tad long. And I think that he has good sensibilities for comedy. I'm not sure what they're going for in this new one, but I don't want Venom to be comedic. I don't want it to be lighthearted. I want it to be dark and like, scary and menacing and all those things. So tonally, I'm really, really worried about what this movie's going to be because I want it to be like a scary, kind of menacing movie. There's a lot of rumors that the movie Life that came out with Ryan Reynolds and Jake Gyllenhaal was a kind of them making a movie as what they were pitching to be a prequel to Venom. So spoiler alert for the movie Life. If you haven't seen it, please do watch it. It is a very good movie. At the end of the movie, Jake Gyllenhaal's character returns to Earth, and so what it is if you remember the comics, they found a black rock, Prometheum X, on, well, this is the retcon from the cartoon, but we'll just go with that one. You know what? Let's do the whole thing. So Spider-Man, in Secret Wars, Spider-Man travels to an alternate dimension. He gets stuck in this machine and gives him a black suit. He comes back, the black suit starts going crazy, blah, blah, blah. It ends up being Venom. In cartoon, they go to the moon. They find a black rock they call Prometheum X. They put it in a little container and they bring it back to Earth. But as they're coming back to Earth, it like breaks out and attacks the crew and kills them all. That's basically the premise of Life. They go up to the moon. They find an organism. They try to kill it because it breaks out and kills one of their crew. But it starts evolving and developing armor and getting bigger and absorbing the things that it eats and becoming stronger until they reach Earth, in which case you think that Jake Gyllenhaal gets a clean getaway, but actually when they open up the pod and to pull him out because he's the last survivor, he's covered in all this symbiote thing and he's like, run, get away, and the movie ends. So it was really fun.
What a twist.
Yeah, it was cool. So they, God, this guy is driving me fucking nuts. I wish girls were that eager to fucking talk to me. I get like 30 calls.
Aww, Muffin.
How dare you mock me? So when they did this movie, it was like a dark noir kind of piece, like a space horror sci-fi, and I was like, if this is what the prequel to Venom is gonna be, I am super fucking hyped because it is like fucking awesome. That's exactly what I want to have as the tone. But having the director of Zombieland kind of makes me lean towards like director of Zombieland is who I would have had directing Spider-Man: Homecoming, not Venom. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
If you guys,
but I mean, you never know. Give the guy a chance.
Yeah. If you guys were to pick a director for Venom, who would you guys have ideally on your short list?
Who's the lady who's the lady that directed American Psycho?
Oh, that wasn't God, I can't remember off the top of my head.
I don't know if she does films anymore.
God, I can't remember what the... I'll look it up though. Go on though. Yeah, American Psycho. Who else? Reese Witherspoon was
Robert Rodriguez.
That would be such a silly popcorny movie. That would be too ridiculous.
I don't know. He did Sin City 1 all right, though.
Did he? That movie was cheesy as fuck. So, yeah, sorry. Mary Harron is the director of American Psycho, which is a great movie. She also did the Notorious Betty Page, the Moth Diaries in 2011, and nothing since. So she wrote and directed 4 movies. I Shot Andy Warhol, American Psycho, The Notorious Betty Page, and The Moth Diaries, and nothing else. That's really, really weird. Oh, it looks like she's been working on TV since then. So she's directed a few episodes. But it's also like kind of interesting when they don't go back. Like, I mean, I guess her other movies weren't that big, but American Psycho should be enough to lead you to another one. And Robert Rodriguez is a horrible choice. Kayla, who would you pick?
See, I'm terrible with director names. This is like the worst question to ask.
Name some movies that you think tonally would lend itself to Venom, and then we can go from the directors there. I'll give you an example if you like. Like, for me, I would like a Donnie Darko kind of vibe to it, so I think Richard Kelly would be a good director. Or David Lynch, because he does like weird kind of surreal movies. And obviously Christopher Nolan, because he can make anything good.
Yeah. Well, if you wanted to be super fucked up, you could get Lars von Trier. Be some weird shit in it.
Lars von Trier would be all about...
He's insane.
You know what Lars von Trier's movie would be about? It'd be Eddie Brock and Venom fighting in his head. That's what that movie would be about.
Yeah, the entire time. And then he's just like sitting in his bedroom eating some snacks.
And the entire movie's in reverse.
If you really wanted a fucked up one, you could get Tom Six.
So who's Tom Six?
He made Human Centipede.
Oh God, no!
Oh no!
Human Centipede wasn't even good. It was like one concept that they dragged out. It's like, oh, I thought of a funny idea, and then I have no other good ideas at all. So yeah, now I give you a couple examples. What would you pick?
That's how I feel about this question. I don't know. I'm just trying to think of movies in comparison that I like. Cause I'm in the same boat as you. I want it to be dark and creepy and not like fucked up in a crazy way, but in a good way.
Silence of the Lambs, The Ring.
No, more like psychological damage.
Who directed Jacob's Ladder?
Exorcist 4.
Yeah, Jacob's Ladder. Well, Jacob's Ladder is I don't know if a guy could do an action movie.
Christopher Nolan, I think, could.
Yeah, he does action amazing, but it's gonna be a recast of Batman.
Yeah, that's the thing with that. I feel like
they're kind of similar characters in the dark, broody sense.
Yeah.
So, like, I think Aronofsky would be really good because he's really good at the psychological stuff.
Yeah, I was just thinking that actually. I was just looking up director names because I'm a loser.
Adrian Lin is the name of the person who directed Jacob's Ladder. He also directed 9.5 Weeks, Flashdance, Lolita, and Unfaithful. So he's also 90. So
okay, I was gonna say.
Perfect age.
I was
Perfect
gonna
age.
say David Cronenberg.
Yes, that is definitely something we can
Oh.
all agree on. I think Cronenberg
Yeah.
would do the craziest. Cronenberg would do The Fly with Venom. It would be fucking amazing.
Oh, The Fly. I gotta watch that movie again.
It's a really, really good movie.
Why can't movies be like that?
So the guys who are writing the movie, who also have a lot on this, so one of them is Scott Rosenberg. He wrote for Tales of the Crypt, the TV show, back in the late 80s, early 90s. One of my favorite TV shows. I love Tales from the Crypt. Con Air, which is also a movie I like. It's actually the only Michael Bay movie I like. Armageddon. I hate that movie. General's Daughter. Horrible movie. Gone in 60 Seconds.
We're gone in 6.
High Fidelity, an amazing movie. Imposter, horrible. Highway, horrible. He was one of the co-writers of the original Spider-Man, which was good. Rewrote,
Yeah.
oh god, this is for you, Simon. Fucking Kangaroo Jack. He wrote Kangaroo Jack.
You need a paycheck sometimes.
Then he went on
That's
to
true.
write. Then he went on to write Pain and Gain, and then Jumanji. This is not looking good for us, guys.
Apparently, Jumanji's getting great reviews. I don't know what
Apparently it's
happened. I'm kind of
great.
confused.
That might be our best movie of 2018 because it's a lot of. You know what it is? It's all these character actors that have been playing the same characters constantly, and they're thrown into a situation where they have to play opposite of their character.
Did you see it yet?
No, but I had a couple friends who did, and they all sing its praises. So, Jeff Pinker is the other writer. This is the guy that I think is going to like really make it for us. He's fucking amazing. So he developed one of my favorite series, probably one of the best series of all time, Fringe. So we know it's created by
yeah.
Alex Kurtzman, J.J. Abrams, and Robert Orci. But the guy who like wrote for the series, a lot was him. So he did like 30 episodes up until the end of season 4. So, and one of my favorite episodes, Brave New World Part 1 and 2, and Olivia, which is also fucking amazing. And yeah, so like Fringe, if you have not watched it, is at the top echelon. It's a better version of X-Files. It's a more satisfying version of X-Files. And it is one big story that has a beginning, a middle, and an end. They do some Monster of the Week stuff, but it all ties back in together to the larger mythology. They really nailed that show in a big way. That it was more consistently good than Battlestar Galactica. I'll say that. Because Battlestar Galactica hit higher highs, but much lower lows. But there's oh my god, there's some moments in Fringe that I get teary just thinking about. He was also the writer on Amazing Spider-Man 2, which is arguably the worst Spider-Man. He wrote The Fifth Wave, which nobody watched.
Sure.
The Dark Tower, which was horrible. He also co-wrote Jumanji, which apparently is very good. And now he's doing Venom. So he's done a couple bad movies, and he's done a lot of good TV. He wrote for Alias, he wrote for Lost, he wrote for Zoo, Fringe.
Wait, which season of Lost?
Makes
a difference.
I'm not sure. He did 4 episodes. So it does make a huge difference. I'd say actually the best episodes were when Brian K. Vaughan came in and they're like, hey, we fucked ourselves up and wrote ourselves into a corner. Can you fix this? And he's like, I'm a comic book writer. I can literally fix anything.
Yeah, and then they had the final episode that was garbage.
Yeah, turns out you guys are all in purgatory. Fuck you.
So fucking stupid.
Especially when they kept
the first half
repeating.
episode was great, and then the last half was like, fuck off.
The first episode
So
that
mad.
comes out and all these like theories are going out. One of the first questions that one of the first Comic Cons they ever went to was them asking J.J. Abrams, are they all dead in some sort of type of purgatory? And he's like, no, they're definitely not in any type of purgatory or anything like that. You can cross off the list. That's definitely not it. And then it turns out they are, and I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
I don't think that was his choice.
Oh god.
Well, he would have to lie if that's the twist. Why would he give
Well,
away the
the
twist
tweet.
that early?
Yeah,
It's
but
like the most obvious twist.
yeah, and he also talked it down a lot. Like he's like, no, that's too obvious. It's like blah blah blah. Like we wouldn't do something like that. And then they did. So if they're like, oh, maybe that's it, or no, that's not it. You guys have to watch the show to find out. Whatever. But they didn't, and they made something stupid, and they didn't fill in all the mythology. But I did get a lot of answers in season 5, and that made me very very happy. Season 5 was like a lot more of an homage to the fans than fans realized because we were just so frustrated at that point. And you gotta think, like, later, like, everyone talks about the first season being the best season. You know, what's the best season in the entire series? When Charlie puts his hand against the window and it says, "Not Penny's boat." Like, that fucking sequence leading up to that and after that was some of the craziest fucking things that we ever seen. And then in season 4 to introduce the flash forward, or season 5 to introduce the flash forward, that fucked everybody. Like, they brought it a lot with that show. But there's a lot of things that they did wrong, and that was, you know, the shows that learned from it. Its spiritual successors, because the same people worked on both shows, are Fringe and The Leftovers. So Carlton Cuse and Damon Lindelof went off to make The Leftovers. Over that, J.J. Abrams went on to make Fringe, with Chris Minorsi, who also worked on Lost. And so they kind of split, you know, that way. But both are spiritual successors to Lost, and they both learned so much from Lost, and made them much better shows. The same way that Arrow and Flash learned so much from Smallville that they didn't fall into the same traps that Smallville did.
I feel like Flash even learned from Arrow.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Arrow except for the whole repeat of the villains every fucking season until this one.
I wish I watched enough of it to confirm or deny that, but I just don't fucking know.
It's a CW show.
The other writer, the final writer on the movie, is the guy who did Saving Mr. Banks. He wrote 50 Shades of Grey screenplay, which apparently fixed a lot of the things in the novel.
Oh, because the novel was like, here's what's happening, and I'm going to tell you why it's happening for an entire page, because I think you're a fucking idiot and can't comprehend what I'm trying to say to you.
It's a book for retards who know nothing about BDSM.
Oh, I had to read it. I had to read it because everybody was talking about it, and I was mad the entire way just because of the way it was written. And also, yeah, no research done.
You don't have to read it. I'm 50 pages into Ready Player One, and I'm ready to put it down. Like, I don't understand how certain things get popular. Like, it is not a good book.
Housewives. Lonely housewives.
Ugh, they're ruining movies for us. So back to Venom. I would say the director has me a little worried, but he is a good director, but does have me worried because tonally I don't think that he has made anything that suits this. Not to say that he can't. But the one of the writers has me really, really excited, and the other ones have me a little iffy because I feel like they're going to kind of shoehorn in some comedy because they have some comedic writers.
Yeah.
So remember, this isn't the first introduction we've had to Venom. We first saw the symbiote and Venom in Spider-Man 3, which...
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't.
Never happened.
So here's my biggest problem. Topher Grace did a bad job. No, had a bad character, but he did not do a bad job. Topher Grace has never done a bad job. Topher Grace is a really talented actor, and no one can see that because he does shitty projects.
Mm-hmm.
Like, In Good Company was good. I mean, yeah, go ahead.
If you know anything about the comic book and you look at Topher Grace, you're just like, what? Like,
yeah, I don't even know where that
it's not Spider-Man's fucking twin.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, that's basically what it was. He was a better-looking Spider-Man.
Ironically, he would have been a fucking 10 times better Spider-Man than Tobey Maguire. Because he can act. Because he can act. That's like all it is.
He has layers.
And, like, he was good in Ocean's 12 for the 2 seconds he was in it. He was great in Win a Date with Tad Hamilton, which is one of my favorite movies.
Yeah, good movie.
It was a great movie. He was awesome.
I love that movie.
It's really... I love the girl from Once Upon a Time. I forget her name. She was also in big... Jennifer Goodwin. Oh, man. She is just too funny in that movie. She is great. I love her. And that's Kate Bosworth's best role as well.
Yeah.
He was good in Mona Lisa Smile. He was great in Traffic. Great in Good Company. He was good in Predators for what's that's worth, because the movie wasn't that great. And aside from that, like, I haven't really seen him except for Interstellar, American Ultra. I saw War Machine. And that's about it. I really hope he gets a role that lets his acting sing, because he's a working actor right now, and like, he left that 70s show when they're like, we're going to give you $1 million an episode just to stick around and see this thing out. And he's like, no, you guys fired the writers. It is not good anymore. I'm not going to be here. And like, could you imagine if in season 5, Barney or Ted, I guess, well, that's a bad example because he's not really the main character, but we'll use it for the sake of argument. What if Ted left How I Met Your Mother after season 5? Because he's like, no, now the next 5 seasons are going to be dog shit because you guys fired all the writers, the showrunner's gone, this good show is now going to spiral into dog shit and I'm leaving. Like, what the fuck would they do? They couldn't.
Sheer panic.
Yeah, exactly. They couldn't do anything. So for him to make that type of bold decision, and the show died shortly after that, and people blame him for leaving, but like, no, the show was on this downward
It needed to
spiral.
be over.
Yeah, exactly.
Sure.
So, I mean, for
He
him
could have
to-
either sank with it or been smart and left, which he did.
Yeah, exactly. And he went on to do the best edit of Star Wars that we've ever seen. Took out all the political shit, all the other bullshit. He edited down all 3 movies of the Star Wars prequels into one movie, and apparently it's amazing. Because he wanted to learn the craft of making movies. I think that's such a brilliant idea. And
Fun.
yeah, I hope he...
And you're in love with him.
I am in love with him, and I think it sucks he
I
was
knew
stuck
it.
playing a shitty Venom, and I hope he gets like the kind of love in a future movie. So
Yeah, like why not just like do Carnage instead for that movie instead of doing Venom? Like it just didn't make sense.
well, yeah, see, Venom doesn't need
They
his
wanted
own
somebody-
movie. Let's be honest, like there's no fucking use of a Venom movie, especially with Homecoming being a whole new reboot, right?
Yeah.
So originally, they were gonna do a Spider-Man 4, written by Gary Ross, produced by Avi Arad, and after they figured out they were not going to make a 4th one in that series, and they had to go back to the drawing board, and then so in 2010 they rebooted the franchise without Sam Raimi, and were gonna do and did the Amazing Spider-Man. Amazing Spider-Man, panned by critics, did well at box office. They're looking to do a Venom movie right then to kind of capitalize on the success. And they were in talks with Josh Trank to take over the Venom film.
Ugh.
Okay, see, you don't like that. I love that. And explain your reasoning for that.
Hasn't everything that isn't Chronicle been shit with Josh Trank?
He's directed one other thing, and it was Fantastic Four. And he was kicked off the movie like 70% through shooting. And they reshot a whole bunch.
It wasn't his fault.
So here's an example. The critical reception of Chronicle, 85% Rotten Tomatoes. Well deserved. My favorite superhero movie. Fantastic Four, 9%. He filmed all of Chronicle and edited it and had freedom, creative freedom. That's what he got. He had creative freedom taken away from him and a bunch of shit reshot, and that was Fantastic Four. So
What you're saying is the 9% was all him.
yeah, the only good thing about... See, Fantastic Four is a really frustrating movie because it's kind of like Justice League, where there's like a good movie that was edited to death. Oh, no, that's not a good example. Justice League would never have been a good movie. Amazing Spider-Man. There was a really great movie in Amazing Spider-Man that Sony edited out. And that was the same thing that happened with Fantastic Four. And that's why Mark Webb, who directed my favorite... these are all my favorite movies. My favorite romantic comedy, 500 Days of Summer, my breakup movie, helped me a lot during my breakup.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a great movie. That and Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I have them both on Blu-ray. People like
You're such a
it's
romantic.
kind of a weird like mix. It's like all these superhero and like sci-fi movies, and then like The Notebook, and those two. So they had Mark Webb directing. He's an incredible director. He would have made a great Spider-Man, and they edited the shit out of it. They had the best cast they had for Spider-Man. They had 2 amazing actors, had amazing on-screen chemistry, and then the studio fucked them twice and made shit movies. And that's exactly what happened with Fantastic Four. But before the movie was even out, Josh Trank was like, I made an amazing Fantastic Four cut, which you'll never see because they fucked this movie to death and reshot everything. And he was right. And now he'll never make a big movie in this town again because he called out these people. But it just sucks that we were so close to having him not only have done Venom, but also a Star Wars film, and both get pulled out from under him because of the shitty execs at Fox. It breaks my heart.
Yeah.
So now that we have everything set in motion, and this movie looks like it's actually getting done, and they have a huge star like Tom Hardy set to attach. They also gave this one a bigger budget because after the success of Deadpool and Logan, and they can see that you can make R-rated movies on and them being really really big successes. They decided to do an R-rated version of Venom, which is really fucking cool. An R-rated Spider-Man movie I'd never thought I'd see, and I'm fucking happy that that's happening.
Yeah, me too.
They also said that Venom would connect to the next Sony film, Silver and Black, and it's also potential that Spider-Man will appear. So, and that's our Spider-Man, Tom Holland, which I think they definitely should. I mean, they should tie the universe together as much as they can. But I think as far as an Eddie Brock type is concerned, I think Dan Hardy, Ed Hardy, what the fuck is his name?
Ed Sheeran.
Ed Sheeran. Ed Sheeran is going to do a great job as Venom.
Tom Hardy.
Ed Hardy.
Gross.
For those who don't know, the movie spinoff that they're talking about tying into is Silver Sable. So they'll do Venom, Silver Sable, and Spider-Man set to appear in both. So let's give this a number out of 100. What do we think our hype point is for this movie? I think it's gonna be really good. Despite some of the stuff, if you attracted Michelle Williams, who has a really good track record, you attracted a huge star like Ed Hardy to the movie. I think they'll do well.
See, they had me at Woody Harrelson. I mean, I fucking love that guy.
Well, they said that it's going to be inspired by the horror films of John Carpenter and David Cronenberg with more pop and fun.
Ooh.
But I don't want pop and fun.
Like that.
I just want that.
I'm like 100% excited, but also 100% worried.
Yeah, it could be
60.
real bad.
60.
Ooh, conservative. Okay, we got 60 from Summon. How about you? Kayla?
80.
So we got
80.
60, we got Kayla with 80, and I will say 90.
Oh, you would.
Oh, I'm very excited.
You're going almost all in.
I'm a big
I had to put in my 20% fear. I had to.
I had a Venom Spider-Man #1 re-release, holofoil cover, but I was too nervous to talk to Todd McFarlane to get it signed. That's how much I love Venom. So I'm just so fucking hyped. If they do this right, it could be the fucking greatest thing that we've seen on screen.
Did you know Channing Tatum wanted to be Venom?
Yeah, but I want him to be Gambit really badly. Really, really badly.
Yeah, no. Just no. Just no.
Why? You don't want him as
Gambit? Like a potato. No, he just acts like a potato.
Yeah, but
I don't mind him in funny stuff because, Jump Street, I enjoy him in that, but in a serious role, like if they had him for Venom, no. Just no.
Venom,
but Gambit,
no.
yeah, whatever. I don't really give a shit.
Oh, wow.
Sure.
Gambit's my favorite character.
Of course.
He is. Actually, he's my #1. So for me, I'd say, he's from Louisiana. He referred to Gambit by his nickname when talking about him in an interview. Like, this guy knows and loves Gambit. So
I mean, I hope he does well. I like his wife. I hope he does well.
Who's his wife?
Jenna Dewan Tatum or whatever.
No, she sounds like you really like her.
She's a dancer.
Oh, interesting.
But she's also been in movies. Her first movie was Step Up with him. But she's hot as fuck.
Yeah, that movie's truly horrible.
Oh, for sure.
The sequel is way better. Step Up to the Streets. All right, so next up, let's go to Avengers Infinity War. What do you guys think is going to happen? How much is your anticipation on this? Are you guys excited?
The same thing that happens in every Avengers movie.
I think this will be a little different.
I read leaks.
Okay.
On board.
I don't want to know leaks.
And they were accurate to the Comic-Con footage. So...
Yeah, but that could be pieced together from Comic-Con footage. I've had a lot of...
it was before Comic-Con.
All right, well, I'm willing to hear it. Spoiler warning for the next 3 minutes. Go hard.
Can I take the headphones off so I don't have to listen to the spoilers?
Yep.
Hawkeye's family dies.
Who cares?
Oh, I care. That's it. That's all I care about.
Too late, I fucking heard already.
That's all I care about. That's the only part I care about. Drax died, too, apparently.
Oh, really?
Wow.
Isn't that tragic? He doesn't get the revenge for his family.
Oh, man.
And they just kill another family.
I'm okay with that.
Fuck families. It was holding him back anyways. We needed more of his kind.
All right. For those who don't know, Avengers: Infinity War is a superhero film by Marvel Comics. It is going to be the culmination of like how many fucking movies? Like
20 something.
Oh my god.
Let's go through them.
Even.
So we got Guardians 1 and 2. We got Iron Man 1, 2, and 3. We have Captain America 1, 2, and 3. We have Iron Man. I said Iron Man. We have Thor 1, 2, and 3. We have Ant-Man, Doctor Strange. What am I missing?
Spider-Man?
Avengers 1 and 2. So 15 movies.
Let's see. It says it's the
Spider-Man not in
9th
this
film.
The what?
It's the 19th film.
So what am I missing? What 4 am I missing?
Did you say Spider-Man?
Spider-Man doesn't count.
Why?
Because it's a Sony movie. It's not a Disney Marvel movie.
No, it was.
And he was only in. What?
I mean, it's officially on there.
Yeah, like wasn't he in an Avengers movie?
He was in an Avengers movie. He's in Captain America 3: Civil War.
Produced by Kevin Feige and Amy Pascal.
Yeah, but it's it's consider Sony its own separate thing because it can't really coincide with the.
Okay, let's look. Distributed by Sony. Production companies Marvel Studios.
Oh, really? It's a Marvel production.
Yes.
Okay, we're tying it into the universe.
Sony just has the distribution rights.
Yeah.
That's it.
But then if we tie that into the universe, we only get one more movie, so that's 16. So I'm missing 2 movies apparently. Or are they talking about Black Panther?
Hulk.
Oh, the Hulk. Oh, the Incredible
No, because
Hulk.
that's tied up with Paramount distribution problems. That's the thing. That's why you forget it. Also.
What? Black Panther?
No, Hulk.
Oh no, I forget about Hulk because it's a terrible dog shit movie I try to erase from my mind.
I mean the Incredible Hulk, not Hulk.
The Incredible Hulk, yeah, the one with Ed Norton. The problem is that the only reason that ties into the universe is because the post-credit scene has General Thunderbolt Ross talking to fucking Tony Stark, and then they ruined it. They tied it. Oh no, sorry, he's talking to Samuel Jackson. They ruined it for everyone by tying that movie in, and all the other ones are at a certain standard that they were never able to release. So I guess that would be the 2, Black Panther and the Incredible Hulk. So I guess this is the culmination of all those movies. So this will be a 2-parter movie. It'll be directed by the Russo brothers, who I am a huge fan of. They also directed the best. Okay, sorry, let me ask you guys. What do you think is the best of all the Marvel movies so far?
What metric are we using?
Which ones you enjoyed the most?
What metric are we using? Like, for what aspect of them?
Overall.
Honestly, I think Thor Ragnarok's my favorite.
I think that'd be number 1 or 2 for me, too. Probably number 2.
Thor Ragnarok, Homecoming. I can only narrow it down to 4.
Okay, let's hear the 4.
Homecoming, Thor Ragnarok, Ant-Man, Civil War.
See, I think Winter Soldier is the best, in my opinion.
Oh, that is a good one.
Okay, see, I'm just mad at the Winter Soldier because it's not really a movie about the Winter Soldier.
No, it's a movie about Robert Redford, and he's the greatest living actor, so I'm cool with it. Okay, so I'm a huge fan of the Russos. They directed, unfortunately, Yumi and Dupree. But then their next movie after Yumi and Dupree is Captain America: The Winter Soldier. They took a real gamble going on the directors of Yumi and Dupree for The Winter Soldier, but end up being amazing. And then Ant-Man, one of my other favorites, they directed that, and they directed the post-credit scene, I guess. And Captain America: Civil War they directed, and now they're directing Infinity War. I'll argue that Civil War and Winter Soldier represent at least the top 5 of those types of superhero films. And, they did such a good job of juggling the cast in Civil War, which is so difficult to do, that I think that they'll do a really, really great job in Infinity War. But they're also really good at juggling large casts because they have a lot of experience writing one of the best TV shows ever made, Arrested Development.
Oh yeah.
Some of the best episodes.
Yeah.
They wrote the pilot, so I mean, there's that. But Top Banana, one of my favorite ones. The Marduk Complex. Motherboy Triple X. Oh god, that was so fucking funny.
my god.
They also wrote the show LAX. So I guess up and down. What about Brian? And my favorite show of all time, Community. They wrote the pilot, social psychology, politics of human sexuality, biology 101.
Yes.
Foosball, a nocturnal vigilantism, Spanish 101, football, feminism, and you. Like, they run a ton of episodes, or directed, sorry, a ton of episodes, and they did just the best. And they also directed one of the hardest ones to direct, which is Advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, such a good episode.
It was one of my favorites. They did
then Advanced Dungeons.
Advanced. That's right. They also worked on the increasingly poor decisions of Todd Margaret. Really good show. Running Wild, another show I really liked. Happy Endings, which is pretty funny. Up All Night, Animal Practice, and Agent Carter. So they have a really good Rolodex of the stuff that they worked on. They're excellent directors. I think they're going to do a bang-up job on this movie. I think it might be the fourth best movie that they do. So I'm going to put my hype level at a 75. How about you guys?
Like, I just went from like a solid 72 to like an 85
Ooh,
after
nice.
this conversation.
Because I've seen every Marvel in theaters except Iron Man 2. I saw that on plane, unfortunately. I've seen every Marvel in theaters like since 2008. Like, I feel old.
Yeah,
I mean, my life is coming to an end.
Yeah, and it's like, it's one of those things that, like, you know, it's a culmination of all of our childhood. It's almost like when the last Harry Potter came out, right? Like, that was the day I realized I was an adult.
Aww.
Yeah.
And you still don't act like one.
90 contingent on.
Wow.
I hope it is 3 hours long, because there's no way to give all these characters justice with 2-hour running time.
You're right. I'm dropping my. I'm dropping mine to 70. It's gonna be hard to get right, and Sony's gonna Marvel's gonna or Disney rather is going to interfere. I know that, and when they interfere, they make worse movies, and that was a problem with Doctor Strange. Could have been a lot better than it was. Actually, I think just Benedict Cumberbatch. I thought he'd be a great choice. He's not doing a good job as Doctor Strange. I don't like him, but that just could be me.
Too Sherlock for you?
I think he's good as Stephen Strange. He's not good as Doctor Strange.
Yeah, but I don't think Stephen Strange is very hard to play, to be fair. Like, it's...
Yeah.
Can you be a regular guy? He's like, yeah, I can do that.
A regular guy with no hands?
And why the fuck is he not British? Like, just, who cares? Who cares?
Yeah, fair.
That fake American accent just really bugs me.
Canadian.
All right. Now, this is a movie in the same universe that I'm actually more excited for the Avengers of Infinity War is Black Panther. Woo!
Yeah.
Step in the spotlight. Woo! Here's why I'm excited. Black people. Okay, how about you guys?
That is also why I'm excited. I would like to go to the midnight premiere cosplaying one of Black Panther's greatest villains.
So you're going to go in blackface?
Yeah, blackface.
So it's been nice.
I hate that you stole the punchline so much. I hate that you stole it.
I'm sorry that I guessed. I'm sorry.
It's really good, though.
That was a great fucking punchline. Yeah, I like going to the midnight screenings because I know most of the audience will be black and I won't have to see them.
But you will have to hear them.
Yes, true. And I'd have to lock my doors.
People hurt my heart.
How about you? Are you excited for Black Panther, Kayla?
I am excited. I like the main guy they got to play the Black Panther.
Do you know what his name is?
I can't say it properly. It's like
Chadwick Boseman. It's not that hard.
Chadwick Boseman. It's not like
Kunta Kinte.
No, I was reading his character name.
Not LeBar. Oh, wait.
T'Challa.
My bad. I didn't know his name. I was reading his character name.
You're racist.
Chadwick Boseman.
Oh
Yeah,
man,
well.
I can't pronounce his foreign name of Chad.
No, I was looking at the wrong name.
I can't pronounce this
I know
name.
what Chadwick-
Michael B. Jordan.
Just edit that out. No. Yeah,
Michael
no,
Jordan, what an exotic African name. Oh man. Okay, sorry.
His character name is exotic, okay?
Yeah, because he's from Africa. You might know Chadwick Boseman, the guy with the whitest black name, from 42, Draft Day, Get On Up, which no one saw. He played James Brown. He was very good. The worst movie I've ever seen, Gods of Egypt. Marshall, where he played Thurgood Marshall. So yeah, it's mostly been in leading roles. He's a good actor. I mean, most people might know him from TV because he was on like CSI and Law and Order and ER and Lincoln Heights and Person Unknown and Fringe and a bunch of other shit. Just doing episodes here and there. But yeah, he's really come up as a really, really great actor in this. I'm very excited for him. I actually was kind of hoping at first that it was the guy from Attack the Block who would later become Finn in Star Wars. But I'm happy it's not him now. I'm really fucking happy it's not him now.
Yeah.
Also, that guy has too round of a baby face to be a kid.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even if he's jacked, he'll always have that kind of round face, I think. It also stars one of my favorite young actors from my favorite superhero movie, Chronicle, tie back to the original, Michael B. Jordan, who is fucking amazing. He was in just an incredible movie. If you haven't seen Fruitvale Station, please go watch it. It is awesome. He was also in Fantastic Four. But he was also in Creed. He played Creed in Creed. And that movie was fucking awesome. Really big fan of him. I think he's just a fantastic actor, and I dig him. And
he was also in Friday Night Lights TV series. It's an American Treasure.
Yes, he was on Friday Night Lights for a long time, which he played a huge prick. And he was also on my favorite show, The Wire, as Wallace for a whole season. He was a kid, but he was awesome. So it was cool seeing him in that. He also did House and Parenthood and a few other things as well, but not a ton of TV outside of those things. Oh, sorry. He was in 59 episodes of All My Children.
Wow.
I missed that. God damn it. His name is Reggie Porter Montgomery. They're like, we need to make a fancy black name. So they got Porter Montgomery. You're like, oh, that could be a black guy. And they're like, we need to black it up. I'm like, Reggie. I'm like, ah, perfect.
Wait, is his name in Chronicle a reference to that?
God damn, I hope not. I sincerely hope it's not it. His name's even wetter in Chronicle. It's Steve, I think, right? Yeah,
Steve Montgomery.
Oh, God.
It's a reference.
It is a reference. It's the most brilliant reference ever, too. Oh, man. Oh, my God. I'm still getting messages like nonstop.
About Steve Montgomery?
Steve Montgomery. And another call coming in. Great stuff. So let's see. We got Black Panther. Okay, so it's directed by Ryan Coogler, who also directed Creed, which is a fucking great movie. And it's also great to see a young black director becoming so successful. And he deserves every bit of it. There isn't a ton of black directors. Same problem with women directors. More blacks than women. We need Oprah directing shit.
Yes!
Quality now. But Fruitvale Station, Creed, and now Black Panther. I'm just super excited for him. He has like leaped and bound every single time he's gone up. Like from Fruitvale Station as a jump up to Creed, and now jump up to Black Panther. And some of the stuff he did with Creed for the action, with the moving the camera around, the steady shot from him walking out and fighting the whole match, one shot, like it is fucking. I'm excited for Black Panther. I'm gonna give Black Panther my highest. Also, my last thing about Black Panther, in the score, in the design, and everything they had me. The design looks fucking crazy and exotic and African. The score had Run the Jewels, which I'm so fucking in, although it's weird that they have a white rapper doing the theme song. And I love all the actors in it. I'm going to give this one full marks. Whopping 100 from Achilles for the anticipation for Black Panther. My most anticipated movie of the year, I'd say.
Oh, wow. I'm definitely a 95 for that one.
I'm also 95.
Excited for it as well.
All right, so Black Panther, you got 95, Caleb 95, and Achilles at 100. Oh, I wonder if anything will get the 100 mark from either of you. I'm actually like really curious.
I have one that well.
Let's see.
If we talk about it.
Next up is Solo, a Star Wars story. Someone talk about this because I don't want to. Someone.
All I know is the Charlie Cox story I told last time. It's fucking. I don't know shit about this movie.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't really know much about it. I mean,
is it Donald Glover, Lando Calrissian?
What?
Lando Calrissian is being played by Donald Glover, which is what I'm super excited for Kayla. You might be very excited that Woody Harrelson is playing Beckett in the film.
My boyfriend!
Yeah, and my girlfriend, Emilia Clarke, a.k.a. Khaleesi, is playing a character called
my
Kira.
Girlfriend?
Yeah, that's fine. We can all share.
Mine.
And then someone watch the porn because he's into cuckolding. Alden, how do you say his last name?
Aaron Reich. Aaron Reich.
Aaron
Reich. With Aaron Reich.
That sounds like the Nazi that hunted down my family. His name was Alden Ehrenreich. He killed.
That's like sounds like someone we need to scalp in a Tarantino film.
Yeah, exactly. So
this guy has legitimately been in nothing.
Well, he has 19 credits, none of them big.
Beautiful Creatures is his biggest one, and that movie was garbage.
Well, yes.
I don't know. Hail Kaiser, it's a Coen Brothers movie, right?
Blue Jasmine was a movie that won awards. So was Hail Caesar.
Kaiser.
But it's a matter of, do you actually remember him in it?
No, I don't remember him in Hail Caesar. I've seen that movie twice. He was also in Tetro, which we were talking about Sofia Coppola. Her dad went crazy, sold a bunch of wine, and decided to make weird-ass movies in Argentina. And Tetro is what came out of it. It's real fucking weird.
Live the dream!
Yeah. Listen, I'll never say anything bad about Francis Ford Coppola, but Tetro is just kind of a weird movie. Oh my god, I'm still getting messages.
Throw your phone at the wall.
I need to do that. All right, so Alden Eldridge, he is starring as Han Solo because we need to have a spin-off Star Wars movie every single year for the next 20 years.
Yep.
And now this is what really bothers me.
Money.
They originally had Phil Lord and Christopher Miller directing, and that is a great combination to have directing. And then they replaced them with someone more traditional, like Ron Howard, which is real shitty. I hate this thing about, these Star Wars movies keep swapping directors because it feels like if anyone wants to bring anything unique and interesting to the films, they're like, no. You have to do it within our thing. And they all say that, oh, well, Last Jedi made a lot of bold choices. Yeah, but it's the same fucking bullshit. Inconsequential characters doing inconsequential things for inconsequential reasons. It's the same bullshit we didn't like about the prequels, and you just brought it back in the sequels. You're like, oh, but it's a different choice than you thought. It doesn't matter. You can surprise us and still be shit. Watch half of M. Night Shyamalan's movies. So,
the turnaround for these movies is 2 years, uninterrupted. Even the prequels still had 3 years, like the originals. So
yeah, at least the prequels had original characters and ideas, and they decided not to do that for this.
Yeah, and the turnaround is 2 years with production overlapping. So it's I feel like they're just stretching themselves thin, trying to stay relevant.
Well, it looks like, so they directed Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, 21 Jump Street, 22 Jump Street, the Lego Movie, Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs 2, and they also were producers on the Lego Batman movie and the Chicago movie. Those are all great fucking movies. Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs might be one of the best kids movies ever made. I like it way better than any of the Pixar movies. Same with Lego Movie. Fucking great movie. I'll admit it, I didn't like it, but it's a good movie.
I feel they could bring I don't know, this snarky ass just sense of smuggish assholery that Han Solo has,
yes,
in the way they direct the film.
Totally, and they prove that they can be funny and crazy with their TV show Clone High, which is one of my favorite TV shows growing up.
I love that show.
Only one season, but every episode is fucking brilliant. To this day, I quote Gandhi and JFK. That's definitely some of the best.
I gotta watch that again. It's been too long.
And they also wrote some of the best episodes of How I Met Your Mother back when it didn't suck. They directed the pilot for Brooklyn Nine-Nine. They've worked on Last Man on Earth, which is one of the best comedies on TV right now. They're great. Like, they're super funny and talented, and I love Clone High, and I'll love it to the day I die. You can kind of notice it because in Clone High and Cloudy with a Chance of Meatballs, they had a similar art style. Yeah. So they have really good directors that they kicked off and instead got Ron Howard, which sucks.
What has Ron Howard made?
Like every fucking...
Besides Bryce Dallas Howard.
Yeah, he made the best part of Spider-Man 3, unfortunately. I didn't know Bryce Dallas Howard
wasn't even properly written.
Yeah. I didn't know she was hot until that movie. I had no idea that she was hot. Yeah, she hit it super well.
I knew.
Yeah, I knew this whole time.
The Da Vinci.
All along.
Christ.
So he worked on The Dark Tower. He was a producer. Terrible movie. Inferno, Into the Heart of the Sea, Rush, Made in America. So these are all recent, and I don't think any of them are really ringing any bells. The Dilemma. And then I guess his last big movie that people would know is Angels and Demons. He directed Frost Nixon, which was very good. Hated Da Vinci Code. Cinderella Man was meh. A Beautiful Mind's very, very good. How the Grinch Stole Christmas. I did not know he directed that. That is so weird. Ed TV. Wow, he directed that. Ransom, I like. Apollo 13, I love. Which might be his best movie. Backdraft is okay. Parenthood is good. Cocoon's great. Splash is silly, but I like it.
Oh, Splash.
Yeah, it's a fun movie. Directed a movie called Grand Theft Auto I've never heard of. Oh, interesting. So yeah, and he was an actor before then. So, I mean, realistically, like, what's his best movie? Like, Apollo 13? Right? Of all the ones I named, I think that's the best. Like, Da Vinci Code sucks. Sequel's worse.
Oh, yeah.
So,
I didn't even watch the sequel. That's how bad I hated the first one.
Maybe A Beautiful Mind.
So Christmas is okay for what it is.
It's great for what it is. But when this guy is the type of person you would expect to be directing a basic ass Star Wars movie the way that they want. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I think that it's gonna be a very adequate movie. That's just
That's the right word for it.
It's gonna be completely fine. It's like, oh, this was a space western with a couple good lines. We're happy. I love the cast. I love Thandi Newton is also in it. She's great. Paul Bettany is going to be in it, which is fucking great. He's awesome. And this is really cool. They got Kasdan to write the screenplay. Lawrence and Joe Kasdan. And for those names, they sound familiar because they wrote Empire Strikes Back and directed it. So, also did Raiders of the Lost Ark. Yeah, they did a lot of classic great movies. He wrote, Lawrence Kasdan in particular, directed The Big Chill, Wyatt Earp, another great movie, Dreamcatcher, horrible movie, and now is writing, he wrote The Force Awakens and is now writing solo a Star Wars movie. And I thought he did good. He did great for Force Awakens. I thought he wrote that just fine, and I think that he'll do a good writing job on this, a character he helped create, essentially, to really bring back, you know. Empire Strikes Back is where we fell in love with Han Solo, and for him to be writing it, I think is a really, really great idea and a great homage to the character, and that's probably one of the biggest benefits of it. But firing the director halfway through, having to reshoot a bunch, people getting recast,
Really?
There's
People
going to be
need to stop doing that.
There's supposed to be a CG driven performance like K2SO. I don't know. And Warwick Davis is returning.
Is he playing Wicket?
Please? Why would he play that?
Because it'd just be hilarious.
Who directed Willow? That was George Lucas, right? Yeah. So as far as this movie's concerned, I don't like Ron Howard as a director. I just realized. I was like, I took everyone's advice that he was a good director. I don't really give a shit about the stuff he's done.
Ron Howard directed Willow.
Oh, fuck off! Really?
The story is by George Lucas.
God damn, I love Willow. Shit, it has Batman in it.
That's his best movie.
That's his best movie. God damn, he might do a great job. He might do a great...
His best movie was 30 years ago.
Dude, no, it doesn't matter. If you have one... Terrence Malick proved if you have one in you can just not work for 17 years, come back and knock it out the park. Shit, this... I don't. You guys got to rate first because I have no fucking idea now. This really changes the way I feel about this film.
I will give 10 points to every actor I'm excited to see. So 50.
Oh, that's kind of low. Okay,
I
Also
know. I'm not really that
50.
excited about it.
fair enough.
Stop copying me. Just
50
kidding.
as well. All right, I am going to go with my gut instinct and give this a 50 as well.
Whoa.
Yeah. I might be a little more. I might be leaning towards a 60, but I'm not quite there yet. Ready Player One.
The
Oh,
fuck is that?
Jesus, there's a strong reaction to that. Okay,
I don't know what it is.
Ready Player One is a book that is now becoming a movie, directed by Stefan
I'm
Spielberg. And this Stefan Spielberg character has directed other movies, apparently. Hell, he directed my favorite jerk-off movie, Schindler's List. So, Ready Player One is a VR world where people go into this virtual reality world called Oasis. They put on these VR helmets, and then they can live out these fantasies. And the guy is based in Columbus, Ohio, which has become like a slum of Brazil, essentially. They're like, it's so hard here now. And it looks like nicer than the slums of Brazil. And I'm like, oh, well, you don't have it that bad. And then there's an entity behind it that wants to control Oasis. And like control the people's minds, or they can find this hidden treasure because the guy who made it died. It's some silly bullshit. I'm reading the book right now. It's not super well written, to be honest.
I can describe it in one sentence.
Please.
It's a VR chat where everyone is the 80s.
Yep, that's exactly it. Instead of having Zimbabwean, or sorry, what was it? Ugandan knuckles. You got, take me to the queen. Do you know the way of the devil? And that's a really inside joke for internet nerds. But yeah, I don't. It's whoever finds this like secret treasure wins $240 million. Blah blah blah. I'm not super excited because I don't think the book's that good so far. I just don't think it's super well written. I like the ideas, and it can be very very cool. And we've seen bad books become good movies. Like look at Shawshank Redemption. It's a little short story that didn't mean shit, and then Stephen King took it and made it something awesome. So here's what we have as the cast. We have Ty Sheridan as the main character, Olivia Cook as his love interest, Ben Mendelsohn as the bad guy, TJ Miller plays this comic relief with Simon Pegg. So those guys are really funny. Although, will TJ Miller be recast now because he got those sexual assault allegations against him?
I wonder.
It's too late to recast because it's March 30th, 2018. It's coming out.
But he's a CG character. You can just redub his lines.
It's too late for post. I feel.
Yeah, because they're probably ready.
Yeah, you're probably right.
I know it's digital now, man. You can just email them the fucking copy the day before now. It's really changed. I think they could actually edit it right up to like a pretty early release. I like Ty Sheridan. You might remember him as Cyclops from the new X-Men films. He was also in. Speaking of Terrence Malick, he was in Tree of Life. He was in Mud. Like he has a really good Rolodex of good movies for such a young actor. Except for obviously X-Men Apocalypse, the poor guy. Also, he's a recast, which is also kind of weird. But I'm excited to see him in Dark Phoenix, and I'm curious to see what he does in Ready Player One. He seemed like a pretty adequate Scott Summers in Apocalypse, which is all I could really say. And as far as Olivia Cook is concerned, she's cute. You might know her from.
She's cute.
The only way I really know her, unfortunately, are from shitty horror movies. So I know her from like Ouija and The Signal. She was also in Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl, which I never saw.
I know her from that.
Yeah, was that good?
Really good.
It was an indie. It was an indie film. It had Walt Jr. for Breaking Bad.
Oh, okay, I like him.
Yeah.
And also I know her from Bates Motel, where she plays Emma, one of the main roles. She's a really good actress. I like her. I think she'll do fine. This is cool that she's coming out with a big movie finally. And yeah. So, directed by Steven Spielberg. We all know what he's directed. Penned by Zach Penn and Ernest Cline. How are you guys about Spielberg movies? Have you guys liked Spielberg's recent works?
What has he done recently?
War Horse stands out as one of his more recent ones. I think that was 2014. That was pretty good. God, he hasn't been working a lot. He produces a lot, but he doesn't like really direct a ton anymore. I guess he's like running fucking DreamWorks SKG is probably pretty
The
tricky.
Post.
The Post,
Correct.
yes, that was the other movie he did recently. That was pretty good.
The
Apparently.
BFG.
BFG was supposed to be really good too. There's another movie I just haven't seen.
Adventures of
Me neither.
Tintin.
Tintin was great. Yeah, that was a fun movie. How
I
dare you? I
actually
love
haven't
Tintin.
seen a lot of his recent movies.
I would say watch Tintin. I mean, it's definitely one of those better movies.
I love Tintin. I watched it every morning before school.
Oh, there you go.
I mean, I wasn't alive, so I couldn't watch it. But it's fine.
Bridge of Spies. He directed a really good movie, Lincoln, which was good, I guess. And then before that, he didn't direct anything until Kingdom of the Crystal Skull, and then before that, Munich. Oh, Munich's one of my favorite movies. That movie's so
Munich's
fucking
great.
good. Yeah, a bunch of Jews killing killing Nazis is so satisfying. The Terminal, also a really, really great movie. Catch Me If You Can, another really, really great movie. Minority Report, another really, really great movie. Like, he is AI, another really, really great movie. Like, he just was hitting hits after hits in the 2000s. Saving Private Ryan before that. Jurassic Park before that. Amistad before that.
Amistad, my own personal jerk-off movie.
What?
Aw.
7 Years a Slave doesn't do it for you?
No, it doesn't.
Is it 7? I don't even know how many years.
12.
He was a slave. 12 years. Ooh, that's a long time to be a slave. I should rewatch that movie. I thought it was 12 years in Tibet, and I was way more impressed.
Oh God.
Yeah, I like Spielberg as director. How do you guys feel about him now?
I don't know, like...
Still one of the best. You have to give him that.
But I haven't seen enough of his recent work.
Yeah, that's kind of how I feel. But I mean, he's good, so
No, he's not good. He's
it's not
great.
like that just. Yeah, but it's not like that just fucking disappears. I'm sure. You know.
I think that's the thing, though, because he's a sure thing. So I think someone fast-tracked Ready Player One because they're like, this is gonna make money. It has a lot of nostalgia, and then they realize, oh, it's kind of shit. We can save this by attaching Spielberg.
Well, I mean, the guy who wrote it, he wrote like Fanboys with Adam Goldberg, which is a fun movie. And then he only wrote, like, I think 2 books, Armada and Ready Player One, and neither of which are that good. I mean, they're first books. They're not supposed to be good. So he's going to be working on it, but he's also working with the writer of Last Action Hero, Men in Black, Inspector Gadget, Charlie's Angels, Behind Enemy Lines, X2, Elektra, X-Men The Last Stand. It goes up and down here, kids. Incredible Hulk.
The thing about Ernest Cline is he's a liar. Because for Ready Player One, he wrote this long thing about how he did research for it because he wasn't, like, really part of the 80s, like, in the zeitgeist consuming that stuff. But, like, 20 years ago, he wrote Fanboys.
Yeah.
So he's a fucking liar.
Oh, well. Back to his bibliography. He also wrote Incredible Hulk, Avengers, Pacific Rim Uprising, and now doing the Suicide Squad sequel. So there's a lot up and down in there. I like Last Action Hero. I love Men in Black. I was a big fan of Ants. X2 was great. But then he also did Elektra, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. X-Men, The Last Stand, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Incredible Hulk, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Pacific Rim Uprising, one of the worst movies I've ever seen. So I don't know what the fuck to expect. This one has me kind of leaning on the fence. I don't like the source material. The writer is someone that the writers are people that have done good and bad things. So they're kind of 50-50. As one of the best living directors, like, god damn, I don't know.
I'm honestly probably not gonna watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
I mean, they're gonna get ILM to do like fucking magic on this film. Like, visually, it's gonna be nuts. Like, fucking all these crazy 80s tropes, like Freddy Krueger riding a giant scorpion and fucking Batman shit. There's gonna be a bunch of cool shit in there, and I'm just really excited for that. I think there might be some visual sequences that'll blow our dicks off. So I am pretty excited for this movie, but because of the source material, I'm going to give this one a 65. How about you guys?
10.
Wow.
10. I thought it was that hard.
Yeah, if I even see it.
Wow.
It's really low on my priority list to see, just because...
I've never hated a Spielberg movie, so I'll watch everything he directs.
I mean, I hated parts of AI.
I loved every bit of it. I mean, I'm sure like there's like movies that are based on shitty books that he's made before. I'm sure the Warhorse play that he based his fucking movie on probably fucking sucked. But I liked the movie, so. Kayla, where are you at?
I was at a 0, but then we started talking about it, and now I know what it is. So I'd give it like a 50.
Ooh, okay, that was a big jump. So
like I'm kind of intrigued a bit now that you've talked about it.
All right.
And you said Batman, so no.
All right, we'll do 3 more movies, and then we'll have to come back to this next week because this is taking way longer than I thought.
It's a lot of movies.
It is a lot of movies. All right, next up, we have easily one of my most anticipated, Deadpool 2, coming out. Yes. So some of it is starring Ryan Reynolds as the Deadpool. As the Deadpool.
The Deadpool.
Directed by Devin Leitch. So they are Licht. I don't know how to say his last name. Leitch.
That sounds correct.
Yeah. He so they had a bit of a falling out with the other director because the original director who made the first Deadpool with Ryan Reynolds wanted a smaller movie, and now the news is that they wanted to do a bigger movie, so they got over creative differences he left, which sucks because you know how much work they put into getting that first movie done. I would love to see them do a trilogy together, but they picked a good replacement because this guy did directed Atomic Blonde, and that movie's like John Wick with chicks. It's pretty fun. It's a fun action movie. So like
check it out.
Yeah, so it's his first directing role was with Atomic Blonde, but I think that is like enough that he kind of proved it. He's also a stunt guy. He was a stunt double for people for like every movie, from Jupiter Ascending to Ninja Turtles to fucking Triple X to Troy. Like he just did stunts. Buffy did God damn, my phone will not suffering.
How dare it vibrate during Buffy.
Yeah, exactly. So for a guy to go as just like a stunt coordinator all the way to directing a movie, I think that's super fucking cool. I liked the way Atomic Blonde was directed. I think he'll do a good job. Although the book is not written on him yet, so we still have like a long way to go.
And in contrast, Tim Miller has gone from directing the first Deadpool to being executive producer on Sonic the Hedgehog, the film.
I cannot wait. I fucking love Sonic. Every bit of Sonic.
Go so fast.
Yeah. So now that Tim Miller left the project because of creative differences, which is what I fucking hate to hear, because that always means that the movie's going to be bad. So that's my biggest worry, because I thought they had magic the first time. Like, they trapped a certain type of magic by doing that movie together, and I don't know if they can get it back with somebody else. That's not to say this guy can't do a good movie, because, you know, he probably can. I just am more worried than I would have been. So that's going to lower my anticipation. TJ Miller, once again, excited to see him in the film. He's funny. Love Brianna Hildebrand as Negasonic Teenage Warhead. Oh, God, I'm so happy she's back.
Brianna Hildebrand is hot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Josh Brolin as Cable. How do you guys feel about that?
I'm confused because now Marvel has the X-Men back. So, what if in Infinity War Thanos takes off his face and it's Cable?
That wouldn't make any sense. But I mean, I was more expecting Cable to show up in fucking Apocalypse, right? Like, it's his story. But
I was gonna go with like a Lady Cable, Keira Knightley, like he said.
I like Lady Cable idea. I dig that idea so much. Like the fact she played Domino, not the comic book Domino, but the assassin, the real life bounty hunter Domino. She did a good job, man. She could totally fucking do it. Keira Knightley might be a bit too small. I wouldn't mind like a. See, I would have loved if what's her name? If Gina Carano got killed in the first movie, she comes back as Cable. Doesn't make any sense. Also, Cable is Scott and Jean's kid, so there's that. If they're gonna do a girl version of him, they may as well do Rachel Summers.
Mm-hmm.
So, the Zazie Beetz, like it's her last name is spelled.
Is that a real name?
Yeah, Zazie Beetz, Beetz. That is her name. She is playing Domino, which I'm super excited for. Domino's a really cool character with lots of luck. She's German-born, half-white, and you might remember her from Atlanta. She's Vanessa Van in Atlanta. And that's pretty much all you'd probably know her from. She was in a TV show called Easy and the movie Geostorm, but not a lot of work. But seems like I like Atlanta. She's good in Atlanta. I'm looking forward to her playing that character. Although I think I probably would have cast someone bigger for Domino, but they may not have had the budget because I'm sure Josh Brolin isn't fucking cheap.
No, definitely not.
If you guys were going to recast Cable, who would you cast? So we have Keira Knightley as a possibility.
Let's see, who else is there? Who else is Because how grizzled do we want?
I was thinking the guy from Steven... I can't remember his last name. From... I can't remember the name of the movie. Avatar. The bad general from Avatar.
Oh, it's been so long.
He's the guy with the scar across his face who is like the main bad guy. He's great. Stephen Lang.
Stephen Lang, yeah.
Yes. So he's jacked too. Like he gets a lot bigger than he was.
I would have said Bill Paxton if he weren't dead.
I don't think he's tough enough, man. I think he's too sweet. I would love Ron Perlman to do it, but he's like 90 and can't walk anymore. He can't walk anymore. His knees are gone, so he just couldn't do it. This is the yeah.
Hold on. No, continue talking.
The one that I thought would have been the best choice is Dolph Lundgren. He was He-Man. He was the Russian Rocky IV. He's he was great in Expendables. Dolph Lundgren is my Cable.
How good is his English?
Doesn't matter. He doesn't. Cable doesn't talk a ton. There is rumors about John Hamm doing it, but I think he's too young.
I think he's a bit too flabby. Like, even if he worked out, like, he has a flabby face.
Well, he might be the next Batman, so we'll see. Also mentioned was Jeffrey Dean Morgan, who I think is just too nice to do it.
He was a comedian. I think he could pull it off.
Yeah, but the comedian was funny, so he could smile a lot.
Was the comedian really funny? I don't think the comedian was funny.
Rape is funny. No, it's not, you guys. That's not okay. Jesus, why do you make me say these things? I don't like it.
Yes.
Shane's not here, but he wrote all these jokes for me, and they're all horrible.
I believe it. That's why he keeps hiding, because he's like, I don't want anyone to know it's me.
Finally, one of the last ones, which is pretty crazy, is Mel Gibson, which would be amazing and kind of awesome, and I think he would totally do a great job.
If they
The
could
dad
get him,
from Everwood!
if they could get him off of like Prison Break and Legends of Tomorrow for a while, Dominic Purcell.
He's too young.
Is he?
Yeah, he's really young.
Pretty young.
He has a baby face too. A bit.
I don't know. He looks hard. Are you confusing him with Wentworth Miller? I'm talking about.
I am confusing with Wentworth Miller. You're talking about Dominic Purcell, who played Dracula in Blade 3. Yes. Yeah, he would work. But he's also a little too young.
How old do you want?
Well, Cable's an old man. I want a lined up face like, God damn it, like Josh Brolin. Motherfucker, they got us.
I'm just kind of okay with this.
Yeah, I guess so. So now that we know that the director's a little different, they have a good job for Cable. Here are the writers. So Rhett Reese, who wrote Cruel Intentions 3, which is arguably the worst, wrote back to Zombieland. He wrote Zombieland. He wrote G.I. Joe Retaliation, which is pretty bad. He also wrote Life, which is awesome. And he's now doing Watch Dogs and Zombieland 2, which are coming out soon. So he has a pretty good track record, aside from Cruel Intentions 3, and I guess G.I. Joe Retaliation, but I mean, how good can you make that movie? And his writing partner, they do the two of them together, so Paul Renrick and Rhett Reese. Zombieland's great. Life was great. Life was really dark. Zombieland was really fun. Rhett Reese was co-writer on Deadpool 1. I think that it's going to be written at the same high caliber standard that the original was, in my opinion. So now knowing all this information, you know who's starring in it, you know who's directing it, you know who's writing it. What is your anticipation for Deadpool 2?
This one's my 100.
This is your Hundy?
Yeah.
Play the theme song. Da-da-da-da-da.
Different theme song.
What is it?
My theme song?
Summon, how about you?
Also 100.
Ooh,
Whoa.
clear hundreds across the board.
I put on Deadpool on Netflix when like I need something to motivate me to do stuff.
I
Basically.
love it.
I really liked Deadpool.
So you're killing
a lot.
people.
I thought it was really great and fun, and I love the movie, but I don't think it was perfect. I definitely think it had its flaws. I think in some points it just wasn't, and like it dragged out a little bit. Do you remember the name of the villain from the first movie?
Yeah, Ajax.
Francis.
No, Francis.
Yeah,
but Ajax.
it was
also.
Ajax. Yeah. So most people wouldn't, and I think that I think that some of those problems might arise up in this movie too, and especially because the original director left over creative differences, it's going to knock down some of my anticipation for this movie. If I was going to give it an honest proposal, I'd say 87. Because if they fuck this up, I'll kill myself.
Well, looking at the cast list, isn't the villain Black Tom Cassidy?
God, I hope so. Could you imagine?
That means, oh my god, what if there's a Juggernaut cameo?
Oh my god, could you imagine? Oh my god.
Nerd.
Black Tom Cassidy is one of the dumbest fucking characters ever created. He's a cousin of Banshee, which is also one of the dumbest fucking characters ever created. Fuck. I can't even remember what he did. He controlled plants or something.
He
Got energy
controls
from
plants. When Juggernaut went like straight and started working at X-Men Academy, Black Tom Cassidy came back to like lure him, and like Juggernaut was mentoring a kid, and Black Tom Cassidy just straight up killed the kid.
Well, you know, Juggernaut and him had like a long history of being like a duo of fucking shit up, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I don't know. He hasn't really been used a lot recently, so it's tough to say. I didn't really read a lot of the 70s X-Men, so a lot of stuff that I know is kind of like left over from his appearances in like the 90s and shit with Juggernaut. So, I don't know. He's a dumb character. I have no idea what the fuck they're going to do with him. But whatever. Hopefully it's good, I guess. So now that I think we have our most anticipated one. Next week, we will get to Wrinkle in Time, Jurassic World, Ant-Man and the Wasp, Incredibles 2, Ocean's 8, Aquaman, Pacific Rim, Tomb Raider, and maybe The Predator, X-Men, Mission Impossible 6, Fantastic Beasts. What else am I missing? Attila Battle Angel,
So few to choose from.
Rampage.
When's the New Mutants coming out?
Ooh, yeah, New Mutants. That'll be none. Spider-Man, the animated one, which I'm super fucking excited for. The Conjuring spin-off, The Nun. There's a new...
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah,
Oh.
for The Conjuring 2. They're making another, what's it called? Transformers movie, a Bumblebee spin-off. There's a whole bunch to talk about. We're going to get all to that next week, because we talked a lot and covered a lot. But so far, let's recap our scores. We have Venom, Someone with 60, Kayla with 80, and me with 90. Infinity War, Someone with 90, Kayla with 75, me with 70. Black Panther, Someone with 95, Kayla with 96, and me with 100. Han Solo, 50-50-50 across the board. Ready Player One, 65 for myself, Someone at 10, and Kayla with 50. And Deadpool, 100 for Kayla, 100 for Someone, and 87 for me. So kind of surprising scores here, guys. Would you like to modify any of them after hearing them back?
Nope.
Nope. So I would say we're going to do this cumulative, right? We're going to add all our scores together and see which one is the highest. So right now, Deadpool and Black Panther are tied.
Nice.
Yeah, that's really interesting. Okay, cool. It looks like it's going to be an all Marvel 2018, which will be such a different.
Those are my two top scores.
Anything else you'd like to say before we sign off and close up?
Please don't
Watch all the movies.
Please don't read Ready Player One. Please
I'm going to finish the
read
book.
the news or a dictionary or something instead.
I read a lot of books. Like last year I read all of Wheel of Time, all of Mistborn, and the spin-off. And I just finished the last of Mistborn, and like after you read like a 6-book series, you're just like, what the fuck do I do with myself? So I got it as a gift, Ready Player One, and I started reading it, and I'm like, this is the worst gift I've ever gotten. Like it's not, because like I was reading a lot of good, like well-written stuff. Like Mistborn's interesting because it starts out a little weak because it's like one of his earlier books, but as he writes them, he gets significantly better. And I'm sure Ready Player One would be like that. Like if the first book sucks, I'm sure the second, third, and fourth will be a lot better. But it's like it seems like a shitty knockoff of Sword Art Online, but Sword Art Online does it way, way, way better. So it is a little tricky of a read. So I'm gonna jump off that. Also, next week have some recommendations for what I should read. I'm gonna finish it and read the rest of Ready Player One, but then I'll be ready for a new book. So we'll think about that for next week. Are you guys reading anything right now?
No, but
you
go ahead.
No, yeah.
I told my girlfriend I would read dragon books with her.
Which one? Dragons of Pern by Anne McCaffrey?
Aragon.
Oh no, that was written by a literal child.
She really likes them.
Oh my god. Well, I mean, being a retard, I guess you have to date other retards. It just sucks you have to deal with them. How about you, Kayla? What are you reading right now?
Well, I read 5 books at a time because I'm apparently not able to concentrate. But I just started Alias Grace because I just finished watching The Handmaid's Tale. So
okay, you're going to watch Alias Grace when you're done that?
Yeah, which is why I'm reading it, because I like to read the book first.
All right, and finally, let's give our Netflix recommendations. What should people watch this week? For me, I'm going to recommend an episode of Black Mirror. I'll recommend 2 episodes, actually. I'll recommend the USS... God, what the fuck was the ship called? Callister. USS Callister, that's Season 4, Episode 1. These are all new episodes from Season 4. I thought that was a really fun, interesting idea. And if you want something kind of sweet, watch I'll look up the episode name in the meantime because I don't remember what number it was. USS Callister is Season 4, Episode 1, though. Kayla, how about you?
I don't know. I just started. The only show that I've started watching on Netflix is Helix because it just showed up, and I watched the first episode, and it's fucking weird. So I don't know how I feel about it.
So you said you watched Handmaidens. It doesn't have to be on Netflix. You said you watched Handmaidens Tale. Would you recommend that for people to watch?
100%, especially for anybody who has read the book, because that book leaves you being like, what happens? Like, it's the most cliffhanger end ever, and the show just really embellishes on all the things that you want to know, and it's very amazing actors. I could not recommend it enough. Probably my favorite show right now.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's crazy. All right.
And I'm a picky bitch.
Soman, how about you, bud?
3 recommendations. They are all on Netflix.
Okay.
Number 1, Godzilla Monster Planet just came out.
Ooh, awesome.
Number 2, Devilman Crybaby is getting a lot of buzz on the internet.
Well, you have to recommend the things that you've seen. Have you seen it yet?
I've seen half of the first episode.
Okay, that's enough for me. What else you got?
An amazing Japanese series on Netflix called Terrace House. It is a reality show about trying to get relationships while living in Japan as a modern Japanese person. And it is less of a reality show the way you know it. It is more of a romantic documentary.
That sounds truly dog shit. The other...
It takes them like 30 weeks to kiss.
Well, that's cute. I can't wait to watch another fucking Love Hina. Hang the DJ is the name of the episode. The other episode I'd suggest. It's Season 4, Episode 4. And it's about using a dating app that's supposed to like monitor you and figure out who your most compatible match is. And you get matched up with people for a certain amount of time. So like you'll go to this restaurant where they predetermine, you'll sit down, they already know what meal you're going to order, and then you both check your time and you can see how much time you guys have together. Sometimes it's 1 day, sometimes it's 5 years, and you just keep dating these people in the system until it knows enough about you that it can put you with your perfect match. It's really cute. I thought it was a great episode, and not usually what I'd recommend, like a kind of a lovey-dovey one, but I think that one is it was just good. So Season 4, Episode 1 and 4, which are the ones that I would suggest. You don't have to watch them in order, Black Mirror. They're all separate standalone stories. They don't tie into each other. So those would be 2 good ones to go with.
Awesome.
Awesome. So we got some great recommendations. We have a bunch of weeboo shit, some feminist shit, and some trippy psychological shit from someone who's lonely. That's all we have for this week in ROFLcast. You can find me online at Achilles or at ROFLcast. ROFLcast.com is completely redone and available for you on mobile. You can download and stream all the episodes available for free right from there. Episodes will be going up a lot quicker now because I have the actual system set up. And they're also available on YouTube. We get lots of downloads, no people watching on YouTube. So please go to YouTube and check that out. That's youtube.com/ROFLcast. And Soman, where can they find you?
At Salmon Rider on Twitter. That's really it right now.
Kayla, how about you?
At KaylaQuinn_9 on Twitter or Instagram.
That's all for this week. Thank you so much for joining us. Join us next week when we talk about the second most anticipated movies of 2018. And until next time, we remain podcasting. Great job, everyone.
Pressures of life, colliding and suffering, but this is no way to live. When the ones you depend on are pushing and pulling you down. So far from everything I thought I ever knew, that something has to change and things will never be the same. You tear my mind out. Yeah, you tear